Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Naya here. So today I have something different, a little bit of an interview. So since coming to Hong Kong and during COVID, I myself have been really interested in entrepreneurship, and I feel like I've always had a little bit of that spirit in me, trying little side hustles here and there. But whilst I've been in Hong Kong, I've been able to meet some awesome small creators who are doing really cool things. So today I wanted to invite somebody on so we can talk about entrepreneurship and help anybody else who's thinking about entrepreneurship and really going behind the scenes. So before we start, make sure you like and subscribe, and time for our guest. Here is my friend Salina. Woo! First time on a YouTube
Happy
video.
To be here.
Give her a warm welcome. So Salina is from Hong Kong, and she owns the Naked Bake Room, which is a cake company here. We want to bring Salina on so she can share her journey. First question, why don't you introduce Naked Bake Room to everyone?
Yeah, Naked Bake Room is an online bakery here, and I started it exactly a year ago. So we recently just celebrated our 1-year anniversary, so it's really exciting. I've been learning a lot in the past year, and just really excited to share to everyone about things that I learned in the past year.
Yeah.
And we do... All our products are of very minimal style, and we just want to promote conscious consumption and also food minimalism through the simple design of our cakes.
Which you can see here.
And from time to time we also post educational content on our Instagram page as well, just to reinforce the message to our audience as well.
Yeah, and sometimes they run classes, so if you want to learn how to bake, hit the Naked Bake Room up. So tell us about what motivated you to start the Naked Bake Room.
So I think in the year of 2020, I was increasingly seeing people are consuming very extravagant designed cakes.
Yeah.
And for example, the bombshell cake, the mirror glaze cake, and also really extravagant looking buttercream cakes.
Yeah.
And I just thought people might not necessarily consume that type of cake because they want to eat it, taste. That they think that it's tasty, but they just more so was more clouded by the social media
the
position,
cute pic.
very Instagram worthy type of
Yeah.
cakes. And I just thought that it's not very don't get me wrong, I love beautiful cakes as well, and I highly respect those people who crafted these cakes, but I just thought these are still food, right? So I just wanted to launch a cake shop, and I thought that there will be an audience who felt the same way, that they would just want a tasty and simple minimalist cake instead of going very extravagant.
Yeah, that's great. And how does that play into, I know you kind of look a bit into sustainability, how does that kind of feed into that?
So like I said, I just wanted it to be a statement to to tell people that it is your celebration doesn't have to be very Instagram worthy, and through this conscious consumption and purchase through this conscious consumption, people can be more mindful about their decision making in their products.
It's true.
So not necessarily just I want a photo, nice photos for more likes on my Instagram. So
yeah, I agree with that, and I reckon I see a lot of people line up. There's a huge culture now, people line up for ages for something that looks really pretty, take a photo of it, and it doesn't necessarily taste really good. And then also
one thing that I don't get is bombshell cake. Do people actually eat it? Have you tried one before?
No, I haven't tried it.
Yeah, so all the candy just fly around.
Oh, I've seen so many of them. Yeah, actually I see
really
a lot of influencers in LA, they send cakes as a PR package, and then I just see them cut it, but I never see them eat it.
Yeah.
I'm do you eat the cake? So I totally agree with you. I think there's a lot of waste in the world, and everything's too driven for the picture.
Yeah. And it's not about me being super eco-friendly and using all vegan products, but I think sometimes it's about trying our best to be more conscious about our consumption so that we can influence other people around us and make a better decision for the planet as well.
I get what you mean. It's bring it back down to kind of a bit more of a raw consumption, where it's just you're just eating it because you want it to taste good.
Yeah, but I think this thing, it's sometimes I find it still today, I find it a little bit hard to implement because somehow people on social media, they're just at first they're just more attracted to the
everyone's so visual now.
So so I think it's so that's why that we put out some educational content just to reinforce the message and encourage people to think about it.
Yeah, that's good. Nice, good space, very good niche. And so then you work full time. You run a like this startup bakery, and then you also have a life, I hope. So how do you balance all of that together?
Let me think.
You don't balance it. Don't worry, I feel the same. Like, so in Myanmar, I was running the Bite Myanmar, and then like working full time and YouTubing, and it was like super overwhelming. I would just like spend all Saturday like baking, and I felt like I had no time to socialize. And then Sunday I would like make a YouTube video. So I do think that you kind of like get into that momentum and that groove, and then after a while you just keep like you just find time. I feel like when there's a need for it, you just find the time.
I think the way that I sustained it is because in 2020, I constantly find myself in a position where I just try something new, give up, and then try something new again, and I just never like continue doing like that's the same thing. And then I got really fed up by this pattern of myself. And fast forward to the summer of 2020, I found this side project of mine, and I just part of it just made me didn't want to go back to that same old pattern, and also partly I also very believed in the higher purpose that I just told you about, the Naked Bake Room, and I just thought, okay, like let's give it a go. And yes, sometimes it's really tiring, but I think at the beginning especially, it was very satisfying to, you know, hear positive feedbacks from friends or like strangers. You know, like when I first got my order from a stranger, I was so happy, and I still remember it. And also like people that you don't know like was like commenting on like positively on your products. It just makes me like feel really happy that I'm actually doing something in my community.
It's a sense of accomplishment. No, I agree, and I think like that small little growth, it's like, wow, I've built this myself, and it's like very motivational. It keeps you going. Keeps you going.
And I think partly is also that I feel like I'm constantly learning throughout the like in this journey. Like today I'm still learning about many new things. So like in my full-time job, so I work in finance, so I wasn't able to like meet so many people in this cake or like F&B industry, and I managed to do that outside of my work, so it sort of like broadened my horizon as well. And it's really interesting.
So what would be your one piece of advice for people out there who have like a full-time job and like, I just don't have time?
I think it is really hard to just like, given that you have a really packed schedule with your full-time job, you really have to start something that you truly believe in. And you can't just, even though I knew that the cake industry is a very saturated industry here in Hong Kong, but I believe in that, you know, higher purpose when I started it. And I think that's what fueled me to like move forward, because I feel like I'm actually creating like a impact or influencing other people's thought process here. So true. That's something that fuels me.
That's good. And then I also think just like we both agree that like it's just gotta do it. Don't think about it too much. I feel like you learn while you're in it, and then the more you just do it, the better you get at it.
Fun fact is that I actually started this cake shop without planning it too much, because I was doing 2 other projects beforehand, and those somehow just like didn't progress as well. Or like it just failed.
That's okay. Failure's fine.
And then I just started this cake shop kind of impulsively, and somehow I just got my first order from a stranger, and that's how I rolled.
That was the same with
along
me.
The way.
I was like super impulsive.
You started the cookie thing,
super impulsive,
right?
like no plans, and just did it, and then was like, oh my god, we're getting orders. Like I didn't think we'd get one order, and we put out this like one little Facebook ad, got all these orders, and I was super overwhelmed. I remember I was like having a meltdown. I was like, I have to make all these cookies. I'm like, oh my god.
I think it's really magical. That's that feeling.
Yeah, it is. And then the other question I have is, I think like for me as well, or as someone who's working full time and like you're like younger, saving money, kind of just a little bit nervous about putting a lot of money into like a startup, because you're not sure if it's going to work out, right? But like but you know to a degree, like, oh, you see people who are like, I gave all my money and like put all my savings in, and like that was it, and then they're like $1 million business now, like, but obviously it doesn't happen for everyone. So I mean, how do you kind of start something without putting all your savings into it?
I think like the way you start, like the way you fund your business or your side project, it really depends on your risk appetite. For me, I wasn't quite willing to
Yeah.
like, just throw myself in, quit my job, and
Yeah.
like start doing this thing full time.
Yeah.
I think it was good for me that I started it on the side so that I learned how so I learned if I actually love doing this so much,
Yeah.
because actually sometimes you don't really know, maybe like it's everything just in your head that you think, oh, like I'm gonna do this very passionately. The start is always great, but then there are so many hurdles afterwards. So
I agree.
I think it is good that you start small, but start it, and then test it out with different people, like with friends and family, and also like don't be afraid to like fail and make mistakes. And I think it is like inevitable that people will be like afraid of failing or making mistakes because they think that it might not look good in front of friends, but like point here is that you think that people are not like viewing you as like a successful person, but like actually nobody really cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
So
and
like
honestly,
just try it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that if you start small and you just test like one small thing first, and then see how you feel about that, and the more confident you become in like your ideas and then like something that you really want to commit to, then you'll have more confidence to kind of slowly filter more money into it. And I really think like you can do so much on your own, like without spending too much money. So I would say like
there's
really
so
resourceful.
much content on the internet. Like
YouTube. How
we discussed the other day, like you can learn how to make a Shopify website.
Yeah, everything. You can make anything is on the
I learned
internet.
how to do like packaging, design, and like
exactly.
making social media posts. And all that.
The internet is your world. And then the last question I actually wanted to delve into was kind of, what do you think how do you think you've changed the most since starting like your own little business? And like what do you think has changed you the most? Anything monumental?
I think I learned more about myself. In a sense that I became more aware of my motives and also my well-being, because starting something on the side, especially, and also by myself, is especially hard. You have to keep track on your mental wellness from time to time. It is very easy to fall into a trap that you think that, oh, like because it's something that I do on the side, I don't really have a lot of time to do it. I might be lagging behind compared to my competitors. But then I think it's not a very healthy way to think about it, because to compare, especially because everybody start at a different starting line. So I think you should just like focus on
your game.
And also like compare what you did wrong before, and also like how you can improve going forward. For sure. I feel
like that's just like the society we live in now, is like with Instagram and like TikTok, YouTube, everyone just shows like their best side. It's like just a highlight reel, and so it is really hard to like look at another company like, oh, like you're doing so well, like what are you doing right? But actually then you like go and read their story, and it's like, well, they failed so many times, and like
they don't really post about it.
Like, no one posts about it. No one advertises like I was like bankrupt and like on the floor crying, had nothing. But I definitely agree. I feel like you go through so many ebbs and flows when you have a startup, and that's a really big thing that I learned as well. It's like you kind of got to pace yourself and like learn to reward yourself sometimes, and just be like, great, I'm here, and like that's where I want to be. And I think it comes down to like good planning as well, and just
and just be more conscious about it.
But I think like the whole area of failure is really interesting, and we will actually need to like gonna delve into that conversation way more in a second episode, so you better come back for the second episode, because we kind of want to go into like more of the taboo topics of like failing, really. I think that people really don't talk about it enough, or make it look like a startup is like super glamorous.
But it's not.
Like we're making like thousands of dollars and we're just like breaking even over here. So we're gonna have a conversation about that in our next episode. Let us know also any other questions you want to ask in the comments to Salina or myself. But thanks for joining this episode. Thanks, Salina, for your insights.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.